Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 28th. This camera isn't on. That's okay. We'll turn it on. You start with this Virgo card. It says details on it. It says you need to look at something more closely. What you need to know lies in the details. You also have this Hand of Fate card. It says everything is happening for a reason except the things to which fate binds you. And so it is a time of fate, especially for you here, Aries, especially if if Pisces is indeed your 12th house, then, you have the North Node in your 12th, and that kind of does represent like a fated time or fated events happening and things like that as well. So, it doesn't really surprise me that something about fate would be coming up for you at this time. The one difference that I'm feeling for you, Aries, is that things could feel fated. Where it's like, sometimes I think, fated things happen. We don't necessarily pick up on it. But then we have those moments in life where it's like serendipity, like left and right, where it's like we see a bunch of synchronicities. We see a lot of, maybe have intuitive thoughts that happen in real life. And that's kind of like more of the feeling that I get for you at this time. So that's what I'll say there. You start with the Five of Swords, the Tower, and the Ace of Wands. I do feel like there's something that you need to end. I'm not too worried about the Tower. Everybody has been getting the Tower. Literally, I literally said in a couple readings ago to almost every single sign that I said, I bet there's going to be a global Tower moment. It could be some sort of establishment or world leader stepping down or something like that. And then the Pope passed away. So, again, we've been getting the Tower a lot, and we are just in a time of, towers, really. And so, this doesn't necessarily have to be something personal. Although on a personal level, I do feel it's almost like I get this feeling of, I'm going to say it, Aries. I feel like you are better than something. It's like you are better than a situation, and maybe you're having that realization. Definitely could be a connection or a person that you're walking away from because you are kind of like at a higher level in a lot of ways. It's almost like you are, like, if the way that I read is I put myself in your shoes, and I feel with the Tower here, Six of Cups, Five of Wands, it's like you are seeing something as immature, even if it's like a person who's older than you, right? And that's like the message I'm getting here. And, we can cause Tower moments for ourselves, and I like to remind people the Tower is a good thing because the Tower says we are accepting reality. So if you're accepting, if you're walking away from something, then that would definitely make sense. The Tower can also be like fated. The Tower is like having a light bulb moment. This lightning bolt is striking the top of the Tower. So the Tower can just represent a sudden realization. In honesty, I feel that you are feeling everything that the Tower represents this week. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I feel that you could be having a Tower moment in the sense that you're coming to some sort of reality, and I feel like you could be coming to conclusions. I feel like you could be having light bulb moments. I also feel that there could be some establishment that you see as like immature in a negative way. It could even be your job as well. It's like, that immaturity could be pretty much anything. You could see that something isn't up to your standard, and that's kind of the feeling I get off of the Tower. Towers can be uncomfortable, but I always say towers are good because they, like, I don't know, I rather see the truth, right? And the Tower is all about seeing the truth for what or seeing the reality for how it actually is. And the rest of the reading is pretty positive, so I wouldn't, like I always say, one card does not make the reading, and I wouldn't worry about it too much. You have the Ace of Wands. In your next row, you have a card that says conclusions are within reach. We're definitely in a time of conclusion, so it doesn't really surprise me. And the castle in the background of the Ace of Wands is crumbling, kind of like the Tower. And so the Ace of Wands sometimes kind of does remind me of the Tower. It kind of says that like one thing in your life is crumbling, and there's a new and inspirational beginning that's coming in for you. So again, I think this is a good thing. The Ace of Wands is my favorite card in the tarot because sometimes I feel like the Ace of Wands is just that one thing we need to get motivated. It's like that spark of hope or that spark of inspiration that gets us moving forward. And I kind of feel that with the Ace of Wands, that, the Tower has the spark, and, you have another spark right here, or at least, kind of like an inspiration, something that will be inspiring you. So I like to see that for sure here, Aries. But let's see what's coming in for you here. Like I said, I do feel like some of you could be creating, this could be a tower moment that you're creating for a person in the sense that you're like walking away as well. With the Five of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups. Sometimes I think confusion is the answer as well. It's like, sometimes in life I feel, or maybe what I should say is like, it always reminds me of what my parents used to say to me when I was a child. Like I would have a hard time making a decision about something, and my parents always used to say to me, if you can't make up your mind, then the answer is no, right? So sometimes I think confusion is the answer. Like if we are confused on something, it's like, Mark Manson, who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, right? He says if it's not an F yes, it's an F no. And I kind of get that feeling here where it's like if you're in any situation, work, business, love, or otherwise, you could be deciding like, you know what, this is not an F yes or an F no, so then therefore it is a no because it is confusing. And sometimes that's the answer, right? Sometimes we just confuse ourselves. And I kind of get that feeling on that card. With the Tower, you have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is really a card of being in alignment. Very interesting reading, Aries, I will say. The Nine of Cups is about being in alignment. So sometimes to get into alignment, we have to, create a Tower moment. I want to eat pizza every single day of my life, but obviously I'm trying to lose my fat ass, so I can't eat pizza every single day of my life, right? And I don't want to hear about cauliflower pizza. That's not pizza. Or whatever other mysterious pizzas you people have. I want real freaking pizza. I'm Italian, so, I got to have the real thing, right? So what I would say here is like that kind of is a Tower moment, right? Accepting reality, accepting you can't do something anymore, right? The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup diet, unfortunately, does not work. So I have to accept that reality and move on, right? And the Nine of Cups is all about kind of, accepting that, getting into alignment. So there you go. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. I love these two cards together because with the Ace of Wands, we have to keep putting wood on the fire to get it to grow. We have to build something with the Ace of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a bunch of wood. So it's like you could be, and it's also forward movement very quickly. So again, if you have had a Tower moment in the recent past, this could be something in the recent past because it's coming up in the first row, then I would say that this is probably leading to a quick movement forward or a quick progress forward as well. This is very much, one thing I will say as well is that I believe this is very much the time that we're in where it's kind of like a lot of us are just letting go of things so that we can have something better. The astrology pretty much all says that. So, I think a lot of people are going through this. If you do want love, by the way, there could be communication as well. We have like the Lovers, Six of Cups, Three of Cups. We have even the Hierophant can represent marriage. So if you're hoping to communicate with like a new person, Three of Cups and the Eight of Wands would represent socializing. So I would take advantage of any social opportunities. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this full moon in Aries. It says a fiery climax approaches. You have this conclusions are within reach card as well. This card is also the full moon eclipse, and we just had an eclipse in your sign, Aries. So, definitely this fiery climax could have started at like the end of March, or, in that March time frame since the middle of March. Maybe you had some sort of conclusion, and now there is like a fiery climax coming in for you. The Tower would kind of be a fiery climax as well, or, kind of. And, especially with the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Wands being fire. So there could definitely be an ending that leads to a very strong, like, new beginning with this reading. You have the Lovers, the Six of Cups, and the Sun. Really good row. The Lovers definitely could represent love. I would say that there's probably new love coming in for you. I do feel like some of you Aries, like if you, it's like I'm getting this message that some of you, it's like maybe you went back to a person. This might only be for like one or two of you, so bear with me. But it's like if you went back to a person over the past couple of years, like you got back together with a person, it's like I think the second time around was meant to show you something important, like more important. It's like, remember the whole immature thing that I was saying at the beginning of the reading? It's like I feel like it was meant to teach you that you are much more mature, that you are you do have more forward-thinking belief systems and, all that other stuff. So a lot of you, it's like if you have gone through something with a person twice, you could be realizing like what you want now, which is great. That clarity can be very helpful. The Lovers can also represent a choice or a decision. We already talked about this with the Seven of Cups. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? And I think you need to stick with that. You have the Six of Cups. I would be careful of any past people here with the Six of Cups energy. Six of Cups, I don't really read as a person coming back from the past, but what I will say is you have the Tower, you have the Three of Cups. Even though we're past the retrogrades, kind of, it's still, there's still kind of like a little bit of a perfect storm of, there's still kind of like a little bit of a perfect storm of exes coming back. So I would be, and you have the Three Cups, which is reunion, and so I would be careful. But for the most part, I feel good about this card. The Six of Cups can represent like a turnaround. I always say this card can represent a gift from the universe, and the gift you receive from the card is a turnaround, meaning that you have been bumping up against obstacles and now you're overcoming those obstacles. You have the Sun, which is the best card in the deck, so definitely could be like a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you here with the Sun card. Could be a lot more pleasure as well in your life. So, and again, this week could be a turnaround week, going from the Tower to the Sun. Could say that you're finally overcoming whatever that Tower moment is. I would also say with the Nine of Cups and the Sun, that you could be, the reason is because you are finally getting like into alignment with what you want and realizing maybe that like a Tower moment happened for you, not to be against you, right? With the Lovers, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is amazing. It's a great time for Aries, I think, to like look at your finances, look at how you can improve your finances, come up with better financial habits. All that stuff will increase your finances. I think it's a great time for Aries to make that final push, like towards something that could set you up financially as well. So I think that will be great for you. Uranus will finally be leaving your sign soon enough, and Uranus is tricky in the second house. So Uranus is in Taurus, your Aries second house. Even if it's not your second house, doesn't matter. And what I would say is you might notice that things start to improve financially, which is great. With the Six of Cups, you have the Magician. It's all about alignment, with this right here. So the Magician is about manifestation, and the Nine of Cups manifests through alignment, like I said. The Magician is pointing to the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is about those like concentrated connections, those people who really want the best for you and making sure you surround yourself with those people. Funny enough, Libra also always gets the same message. The other really funny thing is that not yesterday, but I think like last week I did a reading for Libra and I forgot to turn on that top camera. So you and Libra are always connected in some way. And what I would say here is I think, focusing on those really concentrated connections will help you manifest. With the Sun, you have the Page of Wands. The Sun is lighthearted, like happy-go-lucky energy. The Page of Wands is also lighthearted, happy-go-lucky type energy. So a lot of you could just be getting into a happier, more fun place, enjoying life more, and having a good time. So I would definitely encourage that with the Sun and pretty much everything else that's showing up here as well. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Canary Spirit. It says, sing your own song. You have this Turtle Spirit. It says, slow and steady wins the race. Yes. I'm a big fan of this right now. What I will say, and I was literally on a radio interview yesterday, and I was talking to the person that was interviewing me. They were asking about, basically everything moving into Aries. Neptune, Saturn, will be moving into Aries as well. And this is pretty much what I said. Is that really it's like a time where they say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So I think that is how we should be thinking at this time. But there's more to it than that, Aries. The other thing we have to think about is simplicity. We are in a difficult time, and I believe as humans we have complexity bias. We encounter a big problem, and the first thing our brain does is say like, oh, this big problem is going to require a complex solution. But probably not. And so really, I've been encouraging people to think of, the simple answer probably is the answer. We really need to keep it simple at this time, especially with all this energy that will be going through your sign. It's like, the simple thing, will be the answer. And I think you need to keep things as simple as possible. And again, if you find your brain like thinking like, oh no, I have to make money, so I need to like start this super complex business and do all these complex things. No, I would just keep it simple because, really we're also in a time where, the answer is probably staring us right in the face. Whatever answer we're looking for, but maybe we're just not looking at it, right? So I would keep it simple. With the you have the Five of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Wands. Five of Pentacles is feeling left out in the cold. I just have been feeling this for you, Aries, as well, that some of you, it's like, is this bad? No, but I do think that you feel that there's something missing in your life is more the feeling I get on the Five of Pentacles. It could be like love, money, business, friendship, whatever. And the Five of Pentacles, I'm a solutions-based reader. People always accuse me of being too positive, but really I'm not positive or negative. I just realize that this is energy that you can work with, right? So you can choose whatever you want, really. And so for all the people that accuse me of being too positive, like, sure, you're not going to make money and things are going to be terrible. There you go. Is that what you really want to hear? Or the solution is to not call attention to your weaknesses. The solution to the Five of Pentacles is to focus on your strengths and use your strengths to improve your situation. And that's exactly what I would do with that card. The other thing I would do is Three of Cups. Three of Cups is about focusing on the right connections. Three of Cups, these three ladies are celebrating harvest. You do have the Ten of Pentacles here as well. So again, I actually don't really feel the Five of Pentacles is about money necessarily. It could have to do with something like energetic about money, which, like a lot of the times, I just started reading The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks again, right? And so The Big Leap, in that book, he calls it the upper limit problem. When we kind of reach an upper limit, when we make a bunch of money, for example, we start thinking to ourselves like, oh, I can't do this. I'm going to lose this all. I'm not going to be able to maintain this. All those thoughts start rushing around in our heads. And his thing is, in The Big Leap, again, I haven't finished it. I only just started it, and I don't really remember what the point of the book is. But what I would say is, his whole point is you have to become the type of person that can go above that upper limit. You have to be the thing, right? And so I definitely feel that here. And this could include like surrounding yourself with people who are that thing, who attach themselves to a higher identity. And that's definitely what I would encourage you to do here with that card. You have the Five of Wands. Weirdly enough, I feel like you need to take more chances with the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is like conflict and competition. But fives have very easy solutions. Number one, with the Five of Wands, we can choose to not compare ourselves to the competition. We can choose to look at the competition. We can look and see what they aren't doing and what they are doing, and we can come up with a better plan. So we can avoid competition completely by setting ourselves apart with the Five of Wands. We can also just learn from the competition. We don't have to like compare ourselves again, or we don't have to take part in the competition, but we can see what they're doing and learn from the competition. So I would encourage that. But the first thing that popped into my head, which is what I always go with, is that you need to take more chances, because I think it'll make you believe in yourself more, and which you kind of need with that Five of Pentacles. It's like I've met so many people that are like very capable, right? But they don't take the chances to prove to themselves that they are capable of doing what they say they can. And so I feel this is saying like, take those small risks. It'll be worth it because you will stand out. Let's see. Here we go. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Chariot. You have all these cards of alignment, right? The Chariot, he has these stars up here, these moons right here. It represents as above, so below. He's got these two sphinxes that represent the mysteries of the universe, but they're not attached to the Chariot because he is trusting that the universe is going to bring him in the right direction because he is in alignment. So being what you want to be at this time, just being it, is kind of like the secret sauce of your reading. He's also setting himself apart. Again, I would say with like the Five of Wands, I literally said that on the Five of Wands, to set yourself apart. So that could lead to a big victory for you as well. With the Three of Cups, you have the High Priestess. Yeah, very intuitive time as well. I encourage pretty much everyone to trust their intuition at this time. The other thing that popped into my head is that some of you could be moving. You will have Jupiter will be moving into your fourth house soon enough. So, wouldn't surprise me if some of you were moving. On top of that, you have the High Priestess and the Hierophant. These two are divine counterparts, and I like them better than the Emperor and the Empress because it's like a more spiritual connection. And so some of you could be having a reunion with like a past life person or something like that if you want love. With the Five of Wands, you have the Sun again. So we have the Sun twice. Whenever a card repeats itself, it's basically the universe saying, I meant what I said. So, the universe is clearly encouraging you to focus on like lighthearted, lighthearted energy, not complex energy and all that other good stuff that we talked about. I also feel it's like saying let yourself shine. Like don't, you have things that make you seem special, or that, that make you special, but you have to kind of like shine those things out into the world. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card that says a change in the wind. You have this card that says a fork in the road. There you go. Definitely a choice that you have to make. For some of you, it's like if you're trying to make a choice and you're not, like I said, I think the answer is no on whatever that is. But this sometimes when the answer is no, then we do discover something else that is actually what we want. So, that's what you could be discovering here with these energies. In a lot of ways, the other thing I said in that interview yesterday is I said that I think, if you really boil down the astrology, according to Chris's crappy astrology here, what I think the change is that's happening right now, or in it, it's kind of like hard to see, but it's that people are being more honest with themselves, right? They're not just doing things to please other people. People are choosing not to do that. I think people are choosing to like care less about what other people think. And so a lot of you could be undergoing that change and making better choices because of it. You have the Hierophant, the Seven of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. The Hierophant is a card of traditional belief. We had Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. So, Neptune will retrograde back into Pisces. So, again, we're still kind of in this time where I feel like people are trying to figure out like what they believe, really, and not basing it off of like what other people are telling them to believe. So you could be becoming more independent in a sense with all this energy that's going on in this reading. Also great for love. Again, it's kind of a love reading. There is a little bit of love here. So if you want it, it exists. You have the Seven of Swords. Again, Seven of Swords in the good stuff is a card of tactics. He is stealing those swords from an army in the background so that he doesn't have to go to war. Five of Wands, right? There is competition. There could be conflict in your life. But the Seven of Swords says you can easily avoid it by being tactical or coming up with other ways around the competition. And especially for those of you, Aries, that are like in business or career or whatever, I would be thinking more tactically. I would be coming up with like other ways of doing things. You have the Queen of Wands. Number one, the Queen of Wands says you're very attractive at this time, Aries, especially you being a fire sign. The Queen of Wands is my card of like seduction and attraction. So you could be attracting a lot into your life at this time, which is great. I also feel like you could be really standing out with the Queen of Wands. So, the Queen of Wands, she has this sunflower here, and the sunflower points towards the sun. You have the sun twice in your reading. So she chooses her own happiness and her own things that would bring her joy in life, and she doesn't really care what anyone thinks. And I think having that attitude would definitely be a very good idea for you here, Aries. So let's see. With the Hierophant, you have the Ten of Swords. Yes, letting go of a belief system. It doesn't even have to be a belief system. It could just be a belief. Like maybe you've always thought you had to work hard for your money, but you could be letting go of that and saying, no, I make money easily, right? So again, I think a lot of you, this is just saying that you're changing your beliefs. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, easier abundance, attracting abundance. You're very attractive at this time, Aries, like I said. So definitely put yourself out there. But she is doing something easily. All she has to do is wave that scepter in front of her, and that wheat in front of her will grow. So really this reading is saying do not overcomplicate your life. Keep things simple, and you will get good, better than simple results. So I would keep it simple. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Judgment card. There you go. You have the Tower to Judgment. Tower and Judgment card together in a reading is better than just the Tower card. It kind of represents a major revelation, a major wake-up call. It kind of represents, kind of like a big light bulb moment. So I would pay attention to that. You have this Scales card. It says, keep your life in balance. Your opposite sign, Libra. I literally said it. So you might be embracing that Libra energy, even though you're not a Libra. Yes, I understand that. But I always tell people, I think it's worth it to learn our opposite sign energy because chances are we need to work with it. And, it's always beneficial. So like I'm a Pisces, my life is a mess, right? So I can learn Virgo energy and get more organized, right? So there's a good example, but I think learning to balance things out would be good. You have this dagger. It says fears, worries, tense situation. You have to get rid of the worries. It's like you and Pisces as well. You're born right next to each other, and there is like fear and anxiety in that part of the sky, Pisces, Aries. So I think that you definitely need to let go of those feelings, those things. You have this career card. Definitely a lot of good money stuff here. So you're clearly making some changes financially, or you're doing things in a better way so that you can make more money, which is excellent. I think that will be good. You have this harp card. It says great happiness. Sun twice, Queen of Wands, Empress. These are all really good energies for happiness and being happy and having happy things happen to you. So I definitely like to see the harp. You have this caterpillar. It says things will not always be this way. A change is coming. Clearly, the Tower and the Judgment card, again, is like a major overhaul. So it's like you could really be overhauling your life. I would say not even just right now. This will probably be like a 3-year process because you have Neptune, in your sign. It will retrograde out, but then, again, Saturn will be entering your sign, before you know it. And, that is going to probably have you overhauling your life or making some pretty big changes. But these will be good things for you, Aries, I feel. So this looks really good. I like where it's going. Thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.